Joey Dave, Department of Trade, Consumer Protection. Michelle, Michael, I'm still Jeremy. I'm still here. And today we're actually going to take a step back. We're not going to talk about a specific topic. I've come to the realization that I don't know that I've ever had both of you in the same ring, let alone talking about just Department of Trade, Consumer Protection. You guys have been so nice for the last several years to be a partner with us here at Fact TV and getting information out. We're helping you help others. But I don't know that people maybe associate all the great things that Department of Trade, Consumer Protection is doing. So we're going to step back and just peel back the curtain a little bit of what you guys are doing on a daily basis and why it's so important for you to come out here and do the segments with us on the consumer protection side. So, Michelle, just for anybody who's not familiar with DATCP, what are you guys? Who are you?
We're a small agency in numbers of employees, but we are large and mighty in what we do. I mean, actually, our title is pretty long, Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection. And Michael and I work in the Trade and Consumer Protection area, but within the entire agency, there are a number of different divisions that really are there to protect Wisconsin consumers and agriculture. And agriculture is a huge industry in our state. And I won't pretend to be the expert in that area, but we have a division of animal health that by its name you can tell is there to protect animals in safety and diseases and make sure that we have a healthy animal population as well as that as a agricultural basis in production. We have our division of food and recreational safety. They're there to protect consumers' food base on many different levels, the manufacturing side of food, the production of food, but they also get into, of all things, hotel safety. They are there on the dairy front, again, that's the food side. They are there with campgrounds, and that's the recreational side of what they do. Think summer camps for kids. They're looking at those as well and have regulations that surround that. We have our agriculture resource management. So what are the resources behind agriculture? That could be the crop feed, the pesticides, the dog food and sellers there, the pests that can take down our plants and what diseases are impacting our plants. But then it's land and water and conservation there that division handles. We have an internal division of management services that keeps us operational and strong and makes sure that our systems are working to serve the public as well, and a division of agricultural development. They're there to make sure that Wisconsin products are known, they thrive, they are exchanged in the markets and internationally, and that there are exports available and keep those relationships strong and further develop and analyze them as well. And then I believe that takes us to the Division of Trade and Consumer Protection, where I'm the administrator, Michael's the bureau director, and we talk on a monthly basis.
State of Wisconsin, by the way, so state of, for government-wise, you guys are part of the state government. Here I am at little local Fitchburg, hooking up with the state here on getting information out. It's so crazy. The portfolio is huge, and here we are in this, and I don't want to call it small because you guys are doing some amazing work on some big consumer issues, but consumer protection, it comes in so many different forms, Michael.
Well, it does. Within the Division of Trade and Consumer Protection, we have 3 different business areas called bureaus. One is our trade practices, where that really focuses on making sure that the produce and things that is inspected, and it's what we should be coming in, going out, and offer a lot of protection resources there, consumer protection. Second, we also have our Bureau of Weights and Measures. So they're the ones you hear about that are out there at those gas pumps, making sure that you're really getting that gallon of gas that you're paying for. They're at the grocery stores, making sure that when those registers are scanning those QR code or those UPC codes, that's the number that we get and that's what you're paying for. And then we also have our Bureau of Consumer Protection, who has kind of a wide swath of authority, and we really help out with a lot of things. And that has a lot of different faces to it. One is providing a resource up front with our hotline where you can call us and ask some questions about anything that we have covered, or maybe anything that we don't, and we'll try and get you to the right place that will have the answers. You can also send us emails, and of course our website has a wide variety of resources to also do some self-service there. But then also within the Bureau, we provide a lot of services, most notably some mediation services to help you if you have a problem with a particular business and things aren't going the way that you thought they would or want them to. We can step in and maybe help with that relationship and get you to a place that you want to be or whatever that is. And then we also have a different area of our outreach. So we're really focused on making sure we can get the word out there to bring awareness to the scams that we're seeing, maybe some trends within industry so that consumers can protect themselves, because we can provide all of this out there, but we can't be everywhere all at once. And so the best we can do is try and educate and give them the tools they need to make sure they're protected.
When you guys come here each and every month, which we're again so thankful to have you and all past team members who've been able to be with us, how's that list that you come up with each month? I mean, I'm lucky enough that you give me a list to look at, and I'm like, I'm gonna choose, and but why each month you got a set of topics? Why do we focus on those areas? Because there's a lot of things to talk about, but you guys kind of set aside each month, and that's what generates a segment.
Yeah, so years ago we started doing those, what we call our media notes, to have these conversations. And the way we framed them was to try and talk about what's current in that month, what's current in the scam that's going to cycle through the month. So guess what? In February, we'll talk about romance scams in relation to Valentine's Day. They happen year round, but we try and put some emphasis behind things. And then there's going to be those announcements that we need to make, things that are happening right now. But what we've really tried to add, because it's so important for people to learn from one another, and it's the best tool that we have in prevention, is that spotlight. What are we receiving calls on the hotline, that scam spotlight that is circulating, or that complaint spotlight? What have we received in writing from someone? And let's tell their story, because it will help others understand that they're not alone, that this does happen here in Wisconsin. And it lends validity to what we're talking about. Oh yeah, no, they're just telling that story again, and that scam happens here at Valentine's Day. There are real individuals who are impacted by these scammers, and we want to help them, but one way to help them overcome this is to share that story so others are prevented from experiencing the pain that they have.
Michael, we talk all the time about broken record, or why are we repeating this, or we this is happening. But it's so important to understand that these things continue to happen, and the education piece is that, hey, we've been telling you, we're not trying to put it down, push it down your throat, or whatever that term is. That's probably bad, but we're really, you guys are really trying to emphasize that these things happen to real people every single day, and it's not about being on your case and saying don't do this, but really just trying to break the chain, right?
It is. They keep happening because they're still successful. Once you kind of have the opportunity for us to be educated and say we're going to stop falling for this, then it won't be as successful. Maybe they'll move on. So that's why you still see it. We talk about so often with phishing, which are those emails that just go out, those random text messages that you're not expecting. But phishing continues to be, and has been around for decades, but it still continues to be the number one vulnerability, both for businesses and individuals, on how they fall for these scams. So we keep talking about it because it continues to be successful. So that's why it's so important that we talk about things in the spotlight also, like what are the changes and the variations. And what's also key about that is we talk about the spotlight of maybe one person, but we have yet to see one scam that only impacted one person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We know that they're happening all over and everywhere. So just because we may know about one doesn't mean there's not 100 more behind it. And that's why we want to make sure we know that we help educate, and so that you know what to look for. If somebody calls and says a pop-up and let me connect you with the FTC, red flag, I don't want to do that. So that's why we do it over and over again.
At the end of the day, Michelle, you walk home, you feel good because of what? Of all the work you're doing, of everything that's going on, what is it? For maybe speaking for all the employees for DATCP, I mean, not that you should or could.
No, not that I could.
But at the end of the day, what is it all about?
Yeah, it's an amazing team at DATCP, and especially the individuals that I get to work with directly in our division. But the one thing for me over all these years, it can change every day. Maybe it's that one person you talk to and just listen to their story and made them feel better about the situation they're in. Other times it's the broader impact, like, all right, we were able to influence something in a particular way that's really going to make a difference in protecting Wisconsin consumers across the board. So it can be the one individual or the broader scope of the work that we do. And other times, if we're able to directly interact with the public at a presentation, it could be the story that you hear from, we heard you on TV,
Radio,
and
you guys
I
are
hung
everywhere. I
up
love
the
it.
phone because I
Right.
knew that that was a scam. You know, that just makes everything worthwhile and really completes a day or a year.
Absolutely, Michael. From your side of things too, what do you for everything that you guys deal with on a regular basis when you walk home at the end of the day? Are you like, wow? I mean, that's the way I would. I'd be like, my gosh, I can't believe that this.
For me, I can see in real time, and sometimes it's that instant gratification, the difference that we are making. Like, I see those complaints coming through that we can help with, that we're getting resolved, and without our help, probably wouldn't have gotten resolved. And we're talking those are by the thousands. We're returning millions of dollars, both in money and product and services, and things that they wouldn't have gotten without us. So that part is very satisfying. The other part, as Michelle keyed in on it, is we have an outreach program that's really focused on doing things like this, is making sure that they're out there. But when you hear those stories and you're standing saying, had I not heard that, it wouldn't have been a red flag for me, and I probably would have fallen for it. And maybe it was only $50. But that $50 could make a big chain, or it could be the beginning of a chain that starts 50, turns into 100, turns into 1,000. So hearing those stories firsthand, to be like, what we're doing is real, and what you're helping us do actually makes a difference. That's the satisfaction.
I love that you both said, it's that one change, that one person made change. That's the reason I love having you here. Is I'm hoping that from the segments, I want to help get the word out as best I can, but want to connect people to the resources too, because I don't think you knew. I didn't know until I met you, and reading through the releases that it had existed, and that's kind of scary to me that I wasn't raised to get that information. Maybe it didn't matter back then. Things have changed. Things evolve. We get more education, but the resources that are out there, and that's maybe where we end this, because we could talk forever, as you know I would, but the resources that you've established through the website, through the hotline, you got it out there for people to find it, and you've made it easy.
Yeah, we have certainly tried to, and we're always working to make it better and enhance it with more information as well. So go to that website, datcp.wi.gov. It's there 24/7, so we don't need to be there for you to get the information, but you can also call the hotline if you have a question. They'll answer that. They'll get you where you need to go if they can't answer that question, and they'll get you the information you need as a resource, and that's at 1-800-422-7128.
Well, I appreciate the conversation. Like I said, I think we're focused on the topics, and we enjoy doing that. But I think people should know what's going on too behind the scenes. So and not that we got too far. And yeah, eventually we're gonna let me into the bureau, right? Like, can I come into the bureau room or something?
We'll think about it.
That was a hard pass no. Again, if you haven't checked out the website, do so. Check out the videos that we've posted throughout the years, and we owe big thank yous to these two for coming out and doing this. We really appreciate your guys' time. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Jeremy.
you.